Okay, so basically it's a small introduction to the chapter bill of exchange. So a bill of exchange, which is also known as a trade bill. So bill of exchange is a negotiable instrument mostly used by the sellers in order to reduce the chances of bad debts. So when we talk about bill of exchange, so it basically comes into the picture whenever there is a credit transactions in business, that too particularly credit purchases and credit sales. So in order to remove the what you can say default in the making the payment, so bill of exchange is used by the both the parties, that is buyer as well as seller. So let's see the meaning. What do you mean actually mean by this concept bill of exchange? So a bill of exchange is nothing but it is a written acknowledgement that it is a written proof of debt, and also it is a promise by the buyer that that person will make the payment for the amount of goods purchased from the seller after expiry of certain period, for example 2 months or 3 months, depending upon the relationship between buyer and seller, to make the payments of debt according to the terms decided. A bill of exchange is generally drawn by the creditors, that is a person, that is seller, who provides or who supplies the goods to the debtor on his debtor, and it must be accepted by the debtor. So basically it is a short term, what you can say, like a contract whereby the drawer debtor is making a promise to the creditor that he will make the payment of the goods purchased after expiry of certain period. Let's see the features of bill of exchange. So what are the features of bill of exchange? So very first features, it must be in writing. So any bill of exchange must be in written form in order to provide the legal reference to the both the parties, and it must be stamped, it must be dated. Date should be mentioned whenever there is a cash credit transaction that has taken place into the business. Then it must contain an order to make the payment by the debtor to the creditors, and it must include the amount as well, and it must be signed by the maker, that is drawer. Let's have one example to have the better clarity on this topic. Uh, Say for example, there is a one trader named as Ramesh. So Ramesh sold goods costing rupees 1 lakh to Rajan on 1st April, for say April. So what here Ramesh can do in order to avoid the chances of delay in the payment or any default in the payment, or to remove the chances of bad debts, Ramesh can have a bill of exchange signed by the Rajan. So when Rajan signs a bill of exchange, so there Rajan will tell to the Ramesh that after 2 months or 3 months, I will make the payments of 1 lakh rupees for the goods that Rajan has bought from the Ramesh. So basically, it provides a legal protection to the Ramesh if Rajan makes any default in payment of 1 lakh rupees. So here in this case, our seller will be obviously Ramesh, and that person will also be known as drawer, because he is the person who is going to draw a bill on the what you can say Rajan. Okay, and in this case, our drawee is Rajan, which is also known as buyer of the goods, and he is the person who will accept the bill of exchange, so he will be known as drawee. So in this case, there is a two important terms. Drawer is a person who basically prepares a bill of exchange, and drawee is a person, or we can say a buyer who signs the bill of exchange. Okay. Let's see the format of bill of exchange that will give us a clarity on the topic bill of exchange. So this is a basically format of bill of exchange. So as you can see on the right side, there will be the name and the what you can say address and the date of drawer. Then along with that, there will be stamp and the amount, and one standard dialogue that after 2 months, 3 months, make the payment to the person who has provided the goods, and it will be made by the payment will be made by the person who has bought the goods. And along with that, the signatures and all the signs by the buyer of the goods. So let's see the content of format of bill of exchange. So what are the main contents in bill of exchange format? So date, then terms, amount, stamp, parties. Parties means buyer and seller, that is drawer, drawee, and pay. For the value received, that is the value of the goods, and acceptance. So these are the major contents that must be there in case of bill of exchange. Okay, let's move ahead. Then we have parties to the bill of exchange. Again, that is drawer, drawee, and pay that we have discussed. So basically, drawer is a person who prepares bill of exchange. So a drawer is a person who draws or makes the bill on and signs on it. He is a creator. Why creator? Because he is the person who has supplied the goods to the debtor, who is entitled to receive the money from the debtor. So after expiry of 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, the person will receive the money from debtor. For the drawer, the instrument on his is known as a bills receivable. So once he signs the bills and gets the signed by the drawee as well, then that will be converted in bills receivable. So basically, it's kind of short-term asset, what you can say current asset for the drawer. So it will become bill receivable since he has to receive the amount of bill. So it will be assets for the drawer, and similarly opposite, it will be bills payable for drawee, because this person is supposed to make the payment of the amount in the future. So a drawee is a person who on whom the bill is drawn. So he has to accept the bill drawn on him. He is the debtor who has to make the payment to the creator. So for drawee, this instrument becomes bill payable. Why bill payable? Because he is the person, he is supposed to make the payments to the drawer, because he has bought the goods from, or what you can say, drawer, or in our example from Ramesh. So he is supposed to make the payment to the Ramesh after expiry of period decided between them. So since he has to make the payment of bill amount. Then next we have pay. So pay is the person to whom the amount is being paid. For example, if the drawer wants that the money should go to his creator, then drawer may instruct the drawee to make the payment to the third party. Okay, so that will be pay. So that's all. Thank you.